All right, Broncos country, another live. It looks like we got an update from Mike Klis, and he's had a lot of interesting tidbits in this article that we're going to get into. It covers Davis Webb, talks about Evan Ingram, kind of the future of the tight end room, and some other surprising things, particularly around Nate Atkins, that I was like shocked to read. So we're gonna get into this conversation. Y'all be sure to like, subscribe, get in the chat. That does tons of things to help this spread throughout Broncos country. And of course, shout out to Kalshi for sponsoring the channel. Code DTB, $10 bonus when you deposit 10. Links in the description. Now, I have also linked this article from 9 News in the description as well. Please go show love to Mike Klis. Click on it. Take a look at it yourself. But we're going to read through some parts here, and then I'll get to some of your comments. So this is titled Broncos Tight Ends. Will Davis Webb's increased game planning involvement mean increased production for Evan Ingram? Broncos figure to try and add another tight end threat this offseason. Let's go ahead and dive in. Oh, and shout out to Cameron Parker for sharing this article in my Discord with honestly the title idea. Go subscribe to him on Mainly Broncos as well. But let's get into it. So, interesting. Even after signing free agent Evan Ingram to a 2-year, $23 million contract last year, the Broncos were hoping to land another tight end within the first 2 rounds of the draft. This is last year. They hoped, against hope, Michigan's Colston Loveland would fall close to their number 20th overall selection in the first round. He didn't, instead getting snatched at number 10 by the Chicago Bears, who had a very impressive rookie season, 70 catches, 906 yards, 6 TDs. The Broncos had interest in tight ends by the likes of Terrence Ferguson, Mason Taylor, and Elijah Arroyo with their 51st overall selection in the second round. But then all of them came off the board between picks 42 and 50. I think Terrence Ferguson was the last one to go. I could be wrong on that, but then the Broncos traded back from 51 to 60, and they got RJ Harvey. A year later, here the Broncos are again. Ingram was okay in 2025 with 50 catches for 461 yards and 1 touchdown, but more was expected after head coach and play caller Sean Payton talked him up as the joker position throughout the offseason. Given Ingram as $5 million guaranteed on his 2026 payout of $11.5 million, along with $10.33 million in dead cap, it would make sense for the Broncos to keep him and hope new offensive coordinator Davis Webb can make better use of him than Peyton did. And I'll pull up some of the advanced statistics because, again, he was criminally underutilized. And there still is a lot of reason to hope, as long as Davis Webb is more involved, that we can see Evan Ingram brought into the fold more in this offense. Then this is interesting what he says here. There is widespread belief Webb will replace Peyton as the Broncos play caller this year, although this has not been publicly confirmed by the head coach himself. Peyton will no doubt address Webb's role in game planning and play calling during his NFL Combine news conference next week. But even if Ingram does return, and even if Webb is the new play caller and co-game planner, the Broncos figure to add another tight end threat for Bo Nix, preferably one who is a little stronger in the run game. A look at the Broncos tight end position as their offseason unofficially begins next week at the NFL Combine. Free agents Adam Troutman, Mercedes Lewis. Restricted free agents are Lucas Kroll and Nate Atkins. Under team control, of course, Evan Ingram and Caleb Lohner. He's also mentioned the top free agents: Dallas Goedert, Cade Otton, Chig Okonkwo, Travis Kelce, Taysom Hill. How about David Njoku? There's a few other ones on there. Then tight ends in the draft, top tight ends in the draft: Kenyon Sadiq, Joe Royer of Cincinnati, Eli Stowers of Vanderbilt, Max Clare, Ohio State, Jack Andrews, Texas, Marlon Klein, Michigan, a handful of others, Justin Jolie out of NC State. There's a lot that I like. But here's what I think is very interesting. Summary. Wouldn't be surprised if Peyton gives Webb a chance to better utilize Ingram's talent. If so, I also wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos draft a tight end behind Ingram. This absolutely needs to happen. He's on the last year of his contract. Taking Sadiq with the Broncos' 30th overall pick would be a mockster's dream. Although don't go too far with the Bo Nix connection. He only caught 5 passes for 24 yards from Nix in 2023 as a freshman. But man, this drove me crazy right here. This part. Given Peyton's affinity for Nate Atkins, I would think the Broncos would slap the strong blocking athletic tight end with at least the low right of refusal restricted free agent tender for about $3.55 million. To be safe, the second round tender is for $5.8 million. Nate Atkins. Again, let me repeat that. I would think the Broncos would slap the strong blocking athletic tight end, Nate Atkins, with at least the low right of first refusal restricted free agent tender for $3.55 million. Troutman has been the Broncos' number one tight end in all 3 years in Peyton regime. He almost signed with another team in 24 before Peyton stepped up at the last minute and brought him back on a 2-year, $7.5 million deal that is now expired. He's got to be gone. And he just ends his article right there. So a lot to go over. First off, this would be ridiculous. Bringing Nate Atkins back for anything less than like the vet, or anything more than like close to the vet minimum, man. $3.55 million from a tight end that gives you absolutely nothing vertically is ridiculous. And hey, we got cap room to spend, no doubt about it, but not, $100 million like the New York Jets. We're spending $3.55 million on a tender on a guy that's going to be 3.55 against the cap, man. No, absolutely not. Jaquan McMillan, we can put the $5.8 million tender on him. We can put the $3.55 million on Palczewski, although I think we'd be better off putting a second-round tender on him as well. Nate Atkins is not worth a right of first refusal tender, okay? Nate Atkins is completely replaceable. Now, let me get into Evan Ingram. And you guys might say, I know that there's a commenter in here too that has said that he led the league in drops at the tight end position. Maybe you guys, maybe I just need to go up and look that up for myself. But according to PFF, the man only had 4 drops this year. That's kind of right on par with what Evan Ingram usually gives you. Like 4 drops for the year, as you can see right here. 4 drops for the year. And here's some things that I really love to see with him. Yak per reception, 5.9 yards, essentially 6 yards of yak per reception. Guys, that is the 3rd highest average in his career. All right. It's substantially better than what he did even with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, you could say he had his best years there outside of his sophomore year in New York City with the New York Giants, right? We just have to utilize him better. He averaged 9.2 yards a reception. All right. His average depth of target needs to be much better at 4.2 yards. We're not even using this man downfield vertically, but he still has juice because he gets 6 yards of yak per reception. If you're new to football, what is yak? Yards after the catch, where you catch the ball, and then where you end up. He's going 6 more yards after that. Only 53 targets, 487 yards, only 1 touchdown, criminally underutilized. And remember that touchdown where Bo Nix rolled out to the right in the red zone, and then he found him, and he got like 10 yards of yak on that touchdown. All right. Yeah, it was really great. And then we just stopped giving him the ball. But take a look at what Evan Ingram has done. Throughout his career, his average yards per reception, it went down, right? It's at 9.2. You see throughout his career, it's been over 10. Guys, that's because we're targeting Evan Ingram at a career low 4.2 average depth of target, 4.2 yards downfield. All right. If we just get back up to like 6 yards, man, he's going to be like a 700-yard receiver, man. And again, you've seen him drop 8 catches in 2020. He dropped 6 in 2023. He had 1 drop catch in 2024, man. Like, contested catch rate, he caught 4 of 8 for 50%. Okay. That's tied for the second highest year of his career. I mean, we're just criminally underutilizing him. His yak, the 2 other seasons that he had with a higher yak per reception was 2018 with 8.7. And then you got 2022 with 6.7. He had 5.9 this past year. We need to use Evan Ingram, man. And right now, again, against the cap for $10.33 million, you're going to see all these other premium tight ends signed for more than that. He is going to be a good contract this year, no doubt about it. So Evan Ingram is not washed. No, I'm not hearing it. He's criminally underutilized. Now, when we get to Nate Atkins, Klis usually doesn't go out and say something without having decent knowledge about it, right? I mean, he's Mike Klis. But tagging Nate Atkins with anything as a restricted free agent is absolutely ridiculous, man. This guy gave you 7 catches for a touchdown and 49 yards this year. He's got a pass blocking grade of only 60. Yeah, no, not interested. Let's go ahead and get to the run blocking too. Run blocking, okay, 66.3. That's good. That's respectable. That's good fullback. He should not be back on anything less than a vet minimum, man. That's how I feel about it. Let's go to the pass blocking as well. Gave up 1 hit, 1 pressure. Okay. Well, yeah, still not a great grade there. Nate Atkins gives you absolutely nothing vertically. We should not be spending $3.55 million on a guy that is that one-dimensional. Okay. Between Adam Troutman and Nate Atkins, one of them should be back. Ideally, neither of them are back because we're bringing in 3 to 4 new tight ends this offseason between free agency and the draft. And maybe Nate Atkins is brought back to compete in training camp, but none of these guys should be guaranteed a roster spot. So all that being said, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting stuff. I think it's good news that it's looking like Evan Ingram is going to come back. Again, I wouldn't think Mike Klis would report something like this or come out with an article based on this if he doesn't have pretty good knowledge that Evan Ingram is returning and that Davis Webb is going to have a much larger involvement in the offense this year, right? And that's good. And with him being on a 1-year deal, you can still draft a tight end in the first round, like what we talked about, Kenyon Sadiq, or go and get a Justin Joly, right, in the second round, or Eli Raridon from Notre Dame, day 3. There are plenty of tight ends that I would love to see here. And guys, you can also sign a veteran tight end. Hey, Isaiah Likely. You could sign David Njoku, Dallas Goedert, some of these other guys that Mike Klis talked about. K-Dot. That right there would give you 3 tight ends in this room. That would be great, that you would feel good about. A draft pick, a free agency signing, bringing back Ingram. Then, hey, if you want to use the 4th spot on Nate Atkins, I won't crucify you, Sean Payton, for that. But I'll get to some of your comments here now. A little bit shorter of a stream, but I think that's absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Yes. Why is Mike Klis trying to spew Nate Atkins, Adam Troutman propaganda, man? Yes. No, we don't need these guys, man. Klis's articles, this is what Respect My Co's is saying about running back, wide receiver, and tight ends is exactly everything I've heard. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's not good. We're basically running it back with the same group minus Troutman. Yeah, if we tag Nate Atkins with a $3.55 million tag, yeah, let's see. Hate crimes, 1455. I'd be extremely disappointed if our free agency turned out to be this way. Yes. Yes. We had the worst tight end room in the league. All right. We can make the case for bringing Evan Ingram back, right? But any of these other guys, man, they got to go. They got to go. Evan Ingram's always been a low-key check down merchant, according to Kodiak, but he's been underutilized. Yes. Respect my co's. It's going to help in round 2. Maybe if he tests out of his mind at the combine. Now, you have got me onto Oscar Delp a little bit. Carson Ryan of BYU, if I remember correctly. Mike, you told me to check out, and I like what I see from him. But Oscar Delp later in the draft, I would be happy with that. Carson Ryan would be awesome. There are a lot more, I think, well-rounded tight ends in this year's draft as opposed to last year's. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see what we can find. Of course, it was more top-heavy with Colston and Loveland, and why am I forgetting the guy in the Colts? Tyler Warren, a few of those other guys. But there are some guys on day 3 that I think that we could get that could be on the field pretty early because they got the ability to block as well. And yeah, Oscar Delp, man, you're warming me up to him, man. Oscar Delp, and then trading up to the teens to draft Mike Washington, man. Oh, all right. But guys, you guys are worrying me. Maybe I'm worrying you guys too. Maybe Mike Klis is responsible for this, man. Getting us worried about how we're not going to be active in free agency. We got to. What's going on, Mike? Hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for coming in. The Broncos think signing Dobbins and drafting a bad rookie running back is going to work this time. Don't hex us with that. No, we must pray to the football gods that will not happen. Okay, there are a lot of great running backs we can draft here too. Hey, Jadarian Price, Mike Washington, Jonah Coleman. I was watching some film on him today, so I got a film room coming up on him. But the strategy is so easy. George Payton, Sean Payton, don't overthink this. Breece Hall is an absolute steal for what you're going to give him and the amount of transformation he's going to give this offense. This man, we're talking about, there are people not wanting to pay him Darnell Mooney money. Really? Darnell Mooney money? We're going to fight over that? We're going to split hairs over $13 million a year to Breece Hall? That's Darnell Mooney money, okay? No, man. Darius Slayton makes more than this man. This shouldn't even be a conversation. This needs to be the Broncos' first move in free agency is signing Breece Hall. And Mike's saying Oscar Delp's going to run a 4.5 with a high 30s vert. He very well could be. He very well could do this, man. And yeah, I think this is fair. I can't see the Broncos going after Njoku and paying Ingram at the same time. And so, yeah, maybe that's why they want to bring back Nate Atkins. But, okay, would you rather have Adam Troutman out there or Nate Atkins out there? That's – if you bring back Nate Atkins, you draft a rookie tight end. Hopefully that rookie tight end is day one better than Nate Atkins. But in those two tight end sets, oh, man, you might as well just play an extra lineman. Put Frank Crum out there, right? Yeah, and we could go with Foster Moreau, one of those guys. I'm totally happy. I'm totally happy with that. And again, I know it's a pipe dream. See if Travis Kelce will come over here, man. 37-year-old Travis Kelce is better than everybody that we got. That's just true. Oh, man. Troutman versus Atkins is versus shit. I know. So it's going to be interesting to see if Kalshi ends up putting some odds on here for what's going to be happening with Adam Troutman or Nate Atkins, man. But if Nate Atkins receives a tender, I'm going to lose my mind. I hope we get a real pay cut from Ingram. That would be really nice. And honestly, Mike, tell me how you're feeling about this. Do you think Ben Powers will get offered a pay cut? Because I like Ben Powers at like $8 million this year, right? Something like that. The Broncos have all the leverage with saving $13 million, cutting him as a post June 1st cut, right? I wonder if he would take a pay cut. Now, you could say maybe Paltrow was better than him at right guard, and that could very well be the case. But you draft a guy on day 2 at guard, maybe Keelan Rutledge, right? And he's got, a year to develop, or if he's just great, you can still cut Ben Powers afterwards. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to be gone, even though, like, when I'm doing all this cap stuff on Spot Track, I'm always cutting him. Ian Thomas, let's ride. Dude, I'll take Ian Thomas. I'll take Ian Thomas over Nate Atkins every single day. I'll take him over Adam Troutman every single day. But guys, man, Mike Klis just tried to sneak this in here at the end of this article saying, yep, given Peyton's affinity for Atkins, I would think the Broncos would slap him with a $3.55 million restricted free agent tender. That's insane. Dawson Knox, dude. If we sign Dawson Knox, that would be incredible. If we sign Isaiah Likely, that would be incredible. He's my guy. But I think in Horsepower Hour tonight, we're going to talk about, and that's at 8 Mountain Time, we're going to talk about one trade, one signing, the first round pick, and a non-first round pick. Who are your 4 guys to change this team, to fix this team, to put them over the top to where they win a Super Bowl? And another guy that I've been looking at, I know this is like very random. We got 3 7th-round picks. Now, I'd be shocked if we still use all 3 of those 7th-round picks. Hopefully, we remain active and maybe trade up. Again, I really like Eli Heidenreich. If we can trade up a little bit in the 7th round, in the 6th, something like that, he would be a great tight end, wide receiver, running back, fullback. He is perfect. He is like, spoiler, he's the guy that I'm going to talk about tonight as like my non-first round pick that we must get. It's Eli Heidenreich. I love this guy. Where was I going with that? Can't even remember. Like what we have in the tight end room. Oh man, that's so terrible. Davis Webb. You can't allow this to continue to go on, man. Oh, but what I want to say is 7th round pick. That quarterback from North Dakota State, man, he can be interesting. If you're wanting to find a Taysom Hill-like guy to develop, there's a lot of Taysom Hill that I like out of that North Dakota State quarterback. And that dude can fly, and he's a tank, and he can throw. He's just left-handed, which bothers me, but whatever. All right, guys, I'm going to end this thing. I'm going to get back to doing some other work, but I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. Join me in prayer for our franchise against giving Nate Atkins $3.5 million. That's insane. I'll see you guys later.